In the golden deserts of the ancient Middle East, where sandstorms erase kingdoms and only legends survive, a queen rose. She was a mother, a scholar, a warrior, a ruler who dared to confront the greatest empire the world had ever seen. Thunder strikes in the distance, cut to a close-up of ancient stone carvings. Her name was Zenobia, the Queen of Palmyra, the woman who stood against Rome. Title appears in gold, Zenobia, the warrior queen of the East, the birth of a legend. She was born around 240 AD, in a world where empires rose and fell like waves on sand. Her people called her Al-Zaba. The Romans called her Septimia Zenobia, but history remembers her as the desert lioness. Cut to visuals of a young girl riding a horse across dunes. Narrator. From childhood, Zenobia was extraordinary. She learned languages as if they were songs: Arabic, Aramaic, Greek, Latin, and even ancient Egyptian. She studied philosophy from the Greeks, war tactics from the Romans, and desert survival from her Arab ancestors. Camera zooms in on her eyes as a child, sharp, intelligent, unafraid. Narrator. She was not born to follow. She was born to lead. The Desert Crown narrator. Deep cinematic tone. As the sun of Palmyra rose over the golden sands, Zenobia walked alone across the courtyard of her palace. Her armor reflected the first light of dawn. Sharp, fearless, dazzling. She was no longer just a queen. She had become a symbol. A storm wrapped in silk. A warrior forged in the furnace of ambition. Camera, slow motion close-up of Zenobia's face. Quiet determination in her eyes. Zenobia whispered to herself, "Rome thinks they can intimidate me. But empires fall, not because enemies attack, but because rulers underestimate." Palmyra, the city of miracles. Narrator. Palmyra, the desert pearl, a city of traders, warriors, and dreamers, where Rome and Persia fought for influence. But the desert itself answered to no one. Sweeping drone shots of temples, columns, and markets. Narrator. Palmyra was more than a city. It was a bridge between worlds. East and West, Arabs and Romans, tradition and empire. Cut to merchants loading silk, spices, gold, ivory. Narrator. It was a land where an Arab girl could become a queen, and where a queen could become a legend. The queen and the king, palace interior. King Odaenathus sits on a throne. Narrator. Zenobia's destiny changed when she married King Odaenathus, the ruler of Palmyra, and Rome's strongest ally in the east. Visuals of Zenobia standing confidently beside the king. Narrator. Together, they defended the region from Persia. Together, they strengthened the desert kingdom. Together, they dreamed of a free and powerful east. But shadows fall. Narrator, whispering. And then, the assassin struck. Flash cuts, a blade, a scream, a fallen king. Narrator. King Odaenathus was murdered. His son, too young to rule alone. And the desert kingdom faced chaos. Camera turns to Zenobia, standing alone, veiled in black, but eyes burning with resolve. Narrator. But this was no ordinary widow. Zenobia stepped forward, not as a grieving queen, but as a ruler. Becoming the lioness of the desert narrator. At barely 30 years old, Zenobia became the regent of Palmyra. She was expected to obey Rome, to follow, to bow. Camera zooms in sharply. Narrator. She refused. Cut to Zenobia training with soldiers, walking among scholars, holding meetings with generals. Narrator. She built armies. She strengthened trade. She secured alliances. And she prepared for something unthinkable. Silence. Narrator. To challenge Rome itself. The first shadow of war. Map animation showing Palmyra expanding. Narrator. In only 2 years, merchants traveling under her protection, soldiers sharpening swords, Zenobia studying maps. Narrator. She conquered Egypt, Rome's richest province. She took Judea. She expanded into Asia Minor. Her flag rose across millions of people. The Roman envoys arrive. A group of Roman envoys approached Palmyra, expecting fear, but they found an empire standing tall, soldiers armed, banners raised, citizens chanting Zenobia's name. Roman envoy. Queen Zenobia, Rome orders you to step back from Egypt, reduce your armies, and pledge loyalty. Zenobia did not sit. She stood, towering in authority. Zenobia. Rome demands, but Palmyra decides. Gasps filled the hall. Envoy. You risk war with the greatest power on earth. Zenobia's voice was cold steel. Then Earth is about to witness a queen who fears no empire. The War Council inside a grand desert war tent, generals gathered around a huge sand map. Zenobia placed a bronze marker over Egypt. General Zabdus. My queen, Rome will strike with everything. Zenobia. Then so shall we. But remember, we do not fight to conquer the world. We fight because no nation deserves chains. The generals bowed. Zenobia raised her sword. For Palmyra, for freedom, for our future. Cinematic drumbeat rises. Narrator. For the first time in history, an Arab queen ruled a kingdom that stretched from the Nile to the borders of Persia. Cut to Roman senators in panic. Narrator. And Rome could not ignore her anymore. Rome learns her name, dark clouds over Rome. Senate hall full of angry voices. Narrator, deep tone. In the heart of Rome, whispers of a queen began turning into storms. Roman senator, shouting, Palmyra has taken Egypt. A woman defies Rome. Another senator. She commands armies. She taxes our trade routes. She calls herself Empress of the East. Narrator. Her victories shocked Rome. Her intelligence confused them. Her courage terrified them. The camera moves slowly toward a shadowed figure, the Emperor Aurelian. Aurelian, cold voice. What is her name? Senator trembles. Zenobia. Aurelian's eyes burn. The drums rise. Aurelian. Then the East will burn. Zenobia's empire at its peak. Golden sun rising behind Palmyra's temples, vibrant markets, armies training. Narrator. While Rome prepared for war, Zenobia strengthened her realm. Visual montage. Palmyran archers practicing armored cavalry riding in formation. Zenobia reading scrolls. Scholars, generals, merchants giving counsel. Narrator. She was not just a queen. She was a strategist. Cut to Zenobia at her war table. General. Your Majesty, Rome will retaliate. Zenobia, calm but powerful. Let them come. We are not afraid. The East must stand with dignity. Narrator. Her empire now included Egypt, Syria, Judea, Phoenicia, and parts of Anatolia. Maps glow in golden light. Narrator. No Arab queen had ever ruled so vast a land. The queen and her army. Epic shots of Palmyran cavalry, the elite of the desert. Narrator. Zenobia's army was unlike any Rome had faced. Slow motion shots. Horsemen riding swift as wind. Women archers training beside men. Heavy armored cavalry known as cataphracts. Arabian desert tactics. Hit fast, disappear faster. Narrator. The desert was her shield. The heat her ally. The dunes her fortress. Cut to Zenobia addressing her forces. Zenobia, inspiring speech. Rome believes we are weak. Rome believes we are just sand and wind. But today, we show them that the desert has a queen. Army erupts in cheers. The first clash. Roman war drums echo. Narrator. Finally, Aurelian marched. Visuals. Tens of thousands of Roman soldiers, red banners, armored war horses, siege engines, heat shimmering above the desert. Narrator. Two giants. One desert. Cut to the battlefield near Antioch. Narrator. And Zenobia struck first. The Palmyran cavalry charges, surprising Roman scouts. Dust clouds explode. Arrows fly. Aurelian's general cries, retreat, retreat. Narrator. Zenobia's first victory against Rome echoed across the world. a queen who outsmarted an empire. Zenobia meets her generals at night. General 1, Emperor Aurelian will regroup. General 2, he will bring more legions. Zenobia, studying the map. Then we must be quicker. We strike supply lines. We isolate his forces. We use the desert against him. Narrator, she used Roman tactics against Rome. Scenes show desert ambushes, Roman caravans destroyed, confused legionnaires collapsing in heat. Aurelian, furious. Find her army. Find that woman. The battle for Egypt Golden Nile visuals. Narrator, Egypt, Rome's jewel. Whoever controlled Egypt controlled the world's grain supply. Zenobia's army enters Alexandria. Narrator, when Zenobia captured Egypt, Rome's economy shook. Cut to Roman treasury officials panicking. Roman officer, our grain routes destroyed, our trade collapsing. Narrator, Aurelian had no choice. He declared total war. The turning tide. Large-scale war scenes. Roman soldiers marching relentlessly. Narrator, the Romans changed tactics. They avoided ambush routes. They adapted to heat. They cut off Palmyra's allies. Cut to Zenobia in her palace, reading reports. Advisor, my queen, Rome has taken Cappadocia. Another advisor, they are regaining Asia Minor. Narrator, Zenobia watched the storm grow, but her eyes remained determined. Zenobia, this is not the end. We will not kneel. The second strike. Zenobia sends letters to Arabian tribes, Persian nobles, Egyptian commanders. Narrator, she sought alliances, but the desert was changing. Tribes feared Rome. Persia hesitated. Egypt struggled. Zenobia, whispering, alone, but unbroken. Her hair blowing in the desert wind, her armor shining under the sunset. Zenobia, soft but fierce. If Rome wants the desert, they must take it from me. Cut to Aurelian's massive army approaching. Narrator, and in the heart of the Syrian desert, the greatest battle of her life was about to begin.